Hey, it's your boy Lock Zero, and I'm here with...
It's your main man, Rev. How's it going, guys? Happy Halloween.
Oh, yes.
Spooky season's here.
Spooky Skeletons. Hope you guys having a good Halloween. I wanted to dress up like one of the Straw Hats, but too lazy, so didn't happen. But I should...
Yeah, no, I bought 2 costumes myself. I'm not trying to buy a third for a limited time, but maybe 1 year. Maybe 1 year we'll have a whole thing going.
But yeah, I'm probably going to buy a Straw Hat soon, just because I want to have that Straw Hat vibe, when I do a stream. But anyway, before we get into our video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to throw a comment down if you want to participate in the group convo. And here's our social media links and all that jazz, and yeah, that's about it. Let's get into the chapter, bro.
Absolutely. We got chapter 1030, Echoing the Impermanence of All Things.
Very lofty title.
It's gonna make me stop and think a couple times. Like, what is?
Yeah.
Oda's a philosophizer out here. But we have a pretty cool cover art. It's Brooke bending over, saying hi to a troop of ants who are marching in line, and he doesn't want to, step on them, so he's letting them go. Pretty okay thing. Like I wasn't blown away or underwhelmed or whelmed by this at all. It's just Brooke with some ants. But did nothing for me.
I think we have like 3 or 4 major plot points in this chapter. We have the beginning where Apu and Drake are talking, and Apu is proposing a supposed alliance. We get some numbers in the background, look pretty cool. The next plot point, pick that up there.
Next plot point we have after the numbers and stuff, we see the weakling trio running around with the guys that they got on their side, and we see half of Kinemon running around. Trying to give a message, in his poo farts. They run into Usopp, who tackles him, and they try and let him know what's going on, because obviously he can't hear who they are, but Nami, with the heads up move, drawing a crescent moon on him, lets him know that he's among allies. Yep. So he gives Pooh messages and lets them know that they got to do something to move the plot along.
Yeah, and he's letting them know, hey, go help out Okiku. And amongst these discoveries, the next plot point of, people who are still alive, Kanjuro's still alive, and he's communicating with Orochi, and Orochi tells him to fuck shit up. So he sends out his little Kazembo demon drawing of fire.
Shadow fire. I would be interested to see how that is animated, because I'm not sure what the substance or background would be on this. But we see members of the Beast Pirates are letting everybody know that a freakish apparition has appeared, like some sort of ghost, which is hilarious because that's what Orochi was afraid of the whole time. But this fire apparently is spreading very quickly amongst Onigashima, and we see different members of everybody going on. We see Brooke and Robin fighting some members. We see CP0 running around, Marco, Izo, and Kawamatsu. And then we see a little flash of the big fights going on. So Sanji and Queen still tangled up. We get a little Luffy appearance, Luffy versus Kaido, and then Zoro King. Zoro King. And then as we move on, we get Orochi, commenting that, everybody can, die, basically. He doesn't care. Like, whoever the members of the battle, he doesn't give a shit no more. Let's just, cause devastation, blow everything up. And then we have Yamato running to the castle.
Yep. Yamato's running to the castle, talking about the bomb still. So we get the next plot point is a quick update on everybody and what they're basically doing. The next plot point is back to Big Mom, Kid, and Law. And it looks like she blasts him with a Kaku Sovereignty, destroying his big Statue of Liberty mech thing, Gundam. And then we have a little, I guess, mini flashback. I don't know what you call it, but it's Kid and Law talking about fruit awakenings, and he confirms, hey, you have the awakening. Oh, I have it too, but I don't want to use it unless I'm on the verge of death because it takes so much energy. But then, since they're on the verge of being decimated, Law activates his awakening, which is Kroom, which is kind of weird. And he strikes Big Mom, makes her bleed, and then Kid does the same thing with his awakening. He assigns and magnetizes Big Mom, which effectively makes her a magnet and pulls all these metal things down on her, and that's basically how the chapter wraps up.
Yeah, we have Law telling him to get him out of there. They swap places with Big Mom. All the metal crashes onto her, and that's the end. Yeah, so it's pretty much it. A lot of stuff to discuss. A lot of weird things I want to talk about.
Yeah. That was our recap, and now we can get into the discussion.
Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning. Brooke and the ants. No, I'm kidding. That's not too much to talk about there. But obviously we have Apu and Drake talking and possibly forming a little mini alliance.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what they're referring to with the impermanence of all things, pirate alliances. Because he's with the numbers as well, and these you'd think were directly under Kaido's influence. They're non-questionable, but they're chilling with Appo straight up talking about betraying Kaido like it's no issue.
Yeah.
So I guess the numbers don't give a damn. They just here for good time and destruction.
Out of the three numbers, which one do you think looks the coolest? I'm pretty sure I know.
I guess it's the Satan man with the curly mustache.
Yeah, he looks like
just because the
he
other
looks like fucking him from Powerpuff Girls. Hello, girls.
Fit your legs all the way around.
Hello, girls. What a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to run to him down a dark alley. That's for sure. But the other two just kind of look like giant lugs, goofballs. So I don't take them too seriously. But interesting that Appo knows that Drake, to say he's a military guy at this point, or a member of the Navy at this point, and he still has no problem wanting to work with him. And Drake's like, "You think I'm an idiot? I wouldn't trust you to as far as I could throw you. You've betrayed pretty much every single person you've ever allied with," which is makes sense on Drake's part.
Yeah, no, it's a completely logical conclusion to make when it comes to assessing Apu and his trustworthiness. But I don't know, man. Apu is a little bit of an agent of chaos. I mean, he seems to be an opportunist. So, I guess you could count on him. I wouldn't imagine him to have any kind of loyalty to Kaido outside of what he thinks how that would benefit him. So, it's not like he would have any strong feelings towards trying to save Kaido or anything like that. If anything, I'm wondering if Drake is gonna decide to be like, yeah, let's team up, and then decide, look for an opportunity to double cross Drake. I mean, not Drake, Apu. When he sees the right moment to do so. But yeah,
I think this is more leading into a Drake versus Apu fight. One chat real quick. It'll be him versus the numbers and Drake.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, because they've been kind of tussling for a while, and he seems to have gotten comfortable enough to sit in a chair and have a conversation with X Drake. So, and I mean, not to dismiss the numbers so much, because they really haven't put on the greatest performance, in this entire arc. They haven't been too impressive, but maybe these guys are a little bit more they look more serious than the other dudes, for one thing. And I think Apu has some kind of measure of control over them. I think it's kind of like a Pied Piper situation. So I think they'll kind of do what he says to do, and they just seem like they're too stupid to have any kind of motivations of their own, so.
I got you. We'll see if maybe his powers are why he can control them. That would be an interesting little factor into it. Because I can't see them thinking that Apu has a chance against Kaido either way, And I think from the numbers, why would they just sit there while he's talking, and want to betray or leave Kaido's forces or anything like that? That doesn't make the most sense to me unless he, like you said, has some sort of control over them. Yeah. But we move on, and we have this interesting reveal of Kinemon's legs running around, decapitate, and I did not like this at all.
This was not good. I mean, the part of him being alive is not what upset me. The explanation for why he's alive is ridiculous. It's super convenient, and it's Kaido happened to stab him in the place where he was separated by law in the past, and this hasn't been any kind of plot point whatsoever in previous chapters. There wasn't any established law not putting people together properly concept. So 400 chapters later, all of a sudden he's just not correctly put back together.
The only out I could think of is that it says perhaps I was never properly attached. So maybe that's just the theory that you're running with now until it explains later, like, oh no, it's actually not that. It's something completely different. You know, that could be a way they go. I don't know exactly.
Some
maybe
people
it's,
try.
he's not. Maybe it's not law. He's just like so hardcore that he can run with his lower half when it's separated by Kaido. That's just, you know, he's just about to die. He just doesn't realize.
We've seen
he's
this
just
before.
so hardcore
We've seen this
strong.
before in Punk Hazard, where his lower half was running around. But I mean, some people try to explain it away and be like, oh, you know, because this, you know, Sanji put him back together, Straw Hats put him back together. It wasn't Law that put him back together, so that's, you know, maybe that's why he's like loose or whatever. I don't know. I think it's stupid. At first,
Yeah, I don't buy it either.
At first, I was
don't buy
super
that either.
confused because I was like, "Is his like upper half smashed into his like lower body, and they're gonna like pull him out like a fucking Looney Tunes accordion kind of scenario?" Like, I was so confused. I'm like, "How is this happening right now? Is he just mushed together?" But yeah, I did not like that explanation whatsoever. There's no precedence for this to have happened in the past, and super lame.
It's a really weird way to call for help from that crew. Like, I would have rather had them find him or something, and then him like have a flashback explaining that, oh, Kanjuro, you know, unleashed this fire monster, and then go to the fire monster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just a way to like have him see what's happening without the Straw Hats being able to stop Kanjuro. I guess that's the explanation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe there's another explanation coming up that we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, that whole law
But-
thing was just unnecessary. Like you said, they could have came across his body, or he could have just like been dragging himself, like bleeding and almost on the verge of death. Anything would have been better than this, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this sparks the whole debate about, you know, criticizing One Piece, and some people get really upset when there's any kind of criticism, whether it's valid or not. Some people feel like, oh, you're nitpicking. Some people are like, you don't like the series and stop watching it. I mean, this doesn't make me hate One Piece by any stretch of the imagination. I just can recognize this is not good storytelling.
It's just bad storytelling. Yeah. But again, like I said, let's let it play out a little bit more. See if they're gonna really end up with that discussion. Like maybe, like we said, there's another reason going on, and Kinemon just thinks that it's the law thing going on. Maybe we have some other explanation coming up. We never know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let that play out. But as of now, I will say, yeah, bad story writing. Don't love it. But we'll see if they keep going in that direction.
By the way,
but the Kanjuro reveal, you know,
how do you?
What do you think of that?
Well, I was gonna say, how do you feel about them all being alive? Because I called this shit. I knew they weren't dead. I mean, 100%. I didn't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think they were either. He very rarely kills people, even when they look finished off. You know. So for me, I'm not too upset, not too surprised either. It's in fact good writing. You know, Odochi's been, you know, like a coward, manipulating things behind the scenes. So to me, it makes sense that, oh yeah, in his dying breath, Kanjuro has even one more crazy trick up his sleeve.
But then it's like, if Oda keeps abusing this false narrative of fake out deaths, it's like, do you believe that this is Kanjuro's last breath? I mean, he said that like twice already. So would it be out of like the norm for him to just show up later and be like, this is my last breath and I have one more final thing to do, you know? Like,
I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if he survives the whole thing and he has to go before Momo as the traitor prisoner, you know? So that could also be a thing.
Yeah.
But the Kazanbu monster thing, not crazy about it because I don't get it. I don't know if this is like in reference to some sort of art demon thing that I don't know. There's just backstory to it.
Yeah.
But the Kazanbu,
everybody was
kind of gives me Punk Hazard
comparing
vibes.
it to Smiley.
Yeah, that gives me Smiley vibes.
But
for sure.
it's the same kind of depiction that they had with the Kanjuro flashback when it was first revealed he was a traitor and he was talking to Orochi. Not even, it wasn't even shown it was Kanjuro. They showed it like as a shadowy figure, and he was like, "Oh, I'll serve you because, you know, they killed my parents just because they were Kurozumi." So it's that same kind of silhouette that was shown there before. So it's like, I mean, you could kind of make
That's his spirit.
Yeah, you can kind of make an argument that this is really his last attack because this is like a representation of who he is internally and shit. So, you know, you can go with that route.
Yeah. So I feel like this is setting up for maybe Kinemon when he gets put back together. You know, he can cut the fire in half. So maybe he'll be the one to stop this at the end as well. But for now, not good. They have a flame monster spreading fire on a bomb island. And then the next one we have Momo outside. He's still not really successful in what he's doing. He's trying to make flame clouds. And, this is kind of like a normal trope, like, until the last very moment, he's probably not going to be able to puff it out. They're not just going to have him like, oh, I solved it in 2 seconds, no problem.
Yeah.
We're all good to go. That would be a little out of character, too, for the series.
So, yeah, that's going on. And then we got the CP0 thing. They're on the move. And, I mean, they have a panel, Brooke and Robin, right adjacent to the CP0 panel. So I think it's pretty heavily implied there is going to be a confrontation between them. So I mean, we see 2 of them on the way. So at the very least, Brooke will be dealing with 2 CP0 members simultaneously, and we'll see how that goes. I'm sure. Robin, I'm sure can contribute to some degree, but I'm sure she's still pretty wiped from what she did before. So yeah, we got that going on, and nothing.
Then we have all the other members, Marco, Izo, Kawamatsu. They're fighting, just regular fodder. It looks like, and then that's cool. We get a flash of the big 3. Queen versus Sanji, Luffy versus Kaido, and Zoro versus King. All showing that they're still have a little bit of action, but we're gonna pause. Those battles are about to get really crazy. So just giving a little tease.
We haven't moved forward with any of these plot points. They're still kind of stationary, and Orochi is just being Orochi, being a douchebag, and Yamato's still on the same mission that she was on before. She's just still traversing in her Zoan form or her animal form. But there is further, like I said, there is further development with the Big Mom and Kid and Law stuff. Now, this is the positive part of this chapter. So that first part with Kinemon took away so many points from me, but this was cool. And even this kind of has its little issues, but
yeah, I was gonna say I didn't love this like seamlessly. There are a couple things I had issues with, but we'll discuss as we go on. But there was some epicness here, but I don't know. The fact that they just pull the Awakenings out of their ass, like, oh yeah, by the way, we conveniently had the thing that everybody's been talking about saved up. No problem.
So two points I'll make about that. One, in One Piece, we haven't had, for the most part, when people get power ups, particularly like Luffy, like Enies Lobby is a reference point. Gear 2 and Gear 3 came out of nowhere. The Asura thing that Zoro does came out of nowhere. Diable Jambe came out of nowhere. There wasn't any like training montage or nothing like that.
Any hints like, oh, we're developing new powers.
Yes, and Gear 4 and all that stuff. You can say there's a kind of an explanation for Gear 4. Because Luffy developed it when he was doing his time skip or whatever, but even then there was no like hint or little red herring to just show that was coming.
I have a new form I want to bust out, and then he just like teases it for a couple hundred chapters.
Yeah. And also, and the second point I wanted to make was there's been a duration of time that we haven't been with Law and Kid has been a question mark for the entire series, so we don't know what journeys they've had, and I'm sure Law wasn't just sitting on his hands while Luffy was gone to Whole Cake and when he was in the Udon prison. So I'm sure I could kind of see him figuring this stuff out.
Yeah, maybe, especially after he saw Doffy's work in Dressrosa, he knows there's another level he can take his abilities. Could be an interesting point. But of the Awakenings themselves, what do you think? Like, I will say I wasn't crazy about if this is Law's awakening. It seems very much like the injection shot that he does, so I don't know what the difference was, like the gamma.
Yeah. I think we need more explanation for what actually I can easily understand what Kid is doing with his awakening. It makes sense to me, but like I guess the theory that I've seen is that Law is applying Rune to his sword, so like instead of making a big area of influence, he can put it on an object, and then that whenever that object interacts with something, then it becomes, I guess, part of that room. I don't know. It just looks like more of the same. It looks like more of room.
Yeah, it just looks like a different form of gamma knife, like, which I'm like, okay, like it just doesn't seem like he awakened to anything.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, for Law's thing, it makes sense, that he magnetizes things. I'll just say I don't think it's going to be effective in any way, shape, or form against Big Mom.
I mean,
hitting her with steel poles is like,
the steel poles thing, whatever. But Law has to get his accolades because he made Big Mom bleed. He really seemed to do significant fucking damage to her. And
Who?
yeah,
Law?
yeah, you,
I mean, she gets a little bit of blood, but she immediately turns around to like destroy him. So I mean, it's like a little bit, but not fully. I did want to mention for Kid when he's doing this magnetism. Do you think that that's Emperor's hockey coming off him, or that's just the
no, I
magnet
think that's just
ability?
the magnet ability.
And him in his panel when Big Mom is looking behind him.
Yeah.
Which okay. Because I see that and I'm like, could that have been Emperor's hockey? But you're probably right. It's probably not.
Yeah.
Another note: Zeus is like being pushed. Zeus and Hera are being like magnetized away from Big Mom. Did you notice that?
I don't know. I don't know how you.
Yeah, look, like him and Hera and Zeus are like Hera and Prometheus, sorry, are like smushed away. Like it looks like they're being like pushed back from like her magnetic field.
Yeah, I mean, I can see they're kind of
Napoleon
like
is being like sucked in.
Yeah,
I
can see they're kind of flattened or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the magnetism pushes away non-metal objects. I don't know. But I mean, okay, yeah. The it doesn't again. Kids' attacks don't seem to be that crazy. Like you said, it just like she's just being pushed under a bunch of rubble, and it's like. External physical stuff isn't really going to affect the Yonko because of their crazy durability. So unless in the next chapter, if she gets up and she has like steel rods like stuck in her body and shit, like a few here and there, then I'll be like, okay, Kid actually did something, like it actually pierced her. But if it's just she gets up and she's just covered in dust and whatever, it didn't seem too crazy to me. If anything, it was just more of a incapacitating type of scenario.
Inconvenient attack, yeah. But we'll see. Let's see if there's more to his attack than meets the eye. As of now, I'm saying no, probably not, and probably not going to be too effective. But interesting that they both have the awakening ability. Maybe this is leading into Luffy showing his awakening later.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was gonna say. This to me seems like a setup for Luffy to unlock his awakening in order to defeat Kaido. That's a.
I think he's gonna save the island. It's gonna be like what Momo didn't, and he's gonna turn the whole island into a rubber ball, and then they're gonna bounce instead of hitting the ground.
We'll talk about this in the predictions, but I have something to reference when it comes to that. But yeah, man, that was our discussion. No more points I can think of. Anything in your mind? No. Okay.
Nothing like popping right now.
Weird ass fucking chapter. And on that note, we can get into the chapter grade. Yeah, this was a weird fucking chapter. When I read it, I was just kind of like, what the fuck did I just read? Kind of scenario.
I had to read it a couple times just to make sure that I wasn't just like, I'm like thrown off and missed a couple things or just didn't get it. But I had the same reactions. I didn't, particularly love this one. I think the Kinemon stuff really for me just did not sit well. Like it didn't make sense. I thought it was lazy if that's the explanation they're going with. Oh, Law's powers just weren't sealed properly. Like he's cut so many other people up, and this has never ever been brought up as a thing where it's like, oh, if he's cut you once, your parts are now loose forever or something like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
And not only that, but just what else seemed off? The awakening thing to me, like I got it, but like Laws, like while effective, like it's funny, it's almost in reverse, right? Like Laws, while effective, didn't make like I'm like okay, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything, like awakening wise. I don't get what the awakening fully is.
Yeah.
Because it seemed incredibly similar to his Gamma attack. And then on the other hand, you had Kid, which was like, okay, I get your awakening. It just, I don't think in this particular instance it's going to be too effective as an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, it was confusing in parts and then just kind of almost seemed lazy. I mean, it's hard to say even lazy because it's like, it's like we discussed before, it didn't seem necessary to make this Law plot point of the reattachment thing. Like, just you could have just had them find him or drag his body or whatever, like it was, I don't know, it was out of the way, just awkwardness, lazy, confused and awkward, a lot of segments of this chapter. So that makes me give this chapter, aside from the most redeeming quality of the chapter is the hype of Law and Kid's awakening,
Yeah, and even that's almost felt like not fully flat, but definitely disappointed. I think.
Yeah.
Like especially because the Ope Ope no Mi is one of my favorites. I think Law is one of my favorite characters. Love everything about him. I was expecting a little bit more. Like another advancement to the operating table kind of thing. I don't know, but underwhelming with his awakening. Kids was on track. I think it makes a ton of sense, especially after Dofi's awakening and Katakuri's awakening, showing him being able to magnetize the world. Fully makes sense. I'll just say that as an attack on a Yonko, I don't know that it's shown enough. He's shown enough power to like make this a devastating attack.
Yeah.
It could be that there's something extra behind it, and Big Mom will get up and she's like, "Oh man, there was something more to that attack than your others, and that actually hurt me." But we'll see. I don't believe so for now, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I give it a 6.2.
I'm gonna give it a 6 as well. For me, not a lot of craziness and not a lot of good I can talk about. To me, it just felt like off, like just a lot of off notes. And then you didn't even explain, what Usopp and Kanjuro were talking about. So what everybody's going off to, we don't even know. Usopp and Kinemon. Sorry,
they discussed it.
What's going on there?
Kinemon was like, "Hey, go help Okiku. She's on the verge of death." So nobody's dying, and we got the fake out deaths, which builds fake tension. But yeah, not.
Yeah, but I'm saying it seems like he sent them to do other stuff as well. Like there's a reason they're splitting up. I think maybe some of them are going to do a different mission. Is all I'm saying. But and they didn't really get too much into that. But the Kinemon, the Kanjuro being not dead yet thing, that doesn't shock me in the slightest. It just, to me, it's always like, oh, when they get taken out, they're really just defeated, not dead. So not shocked there. Orochi being a douche as always is God, I love to hate that guy. I love to hate him so much. That's about it, really. I thought almost that Yamato got taken out, but we see in the next panel she's fine. She's just observant of all this. Just a lot of I don't know, moving it forward, but not a lot of things. Like not a lot of stuff happened. Just like a lot of teases and a lot of like weird beats to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, that was our chapter grade, and now we can get into our MVP. All right, man, MVP time. So I'm gonna give it to Law, and I know you could say, oh, well, Law and Kid both awakened their abilities, but I think it was super impressive the significant damage she was able to do to Big Mom. We've never seen anybody make her bleed before, and this is the first time in the series this has occurred.
I think we've seen her bleed, right? Didn't someone damage her when they were on the roof?
And then he shocked her. He did the shockwave thing before, but it didn't affect her like this. No blood came out or nothing like that.
No, didn't Kid make her bleed earlier or something?
No.
Or am I bugging?
No. Nah, son.
Well, then I also will have to go Law as MVP. Just gonna put it out there. He wasn't like a runaway with MVP. This chapter didn't really have a clear cut, but like you say, doing damage on a Yonko, awakening her fruit. I'll give you the props. Kid would have been the second runner-up, or maybe even Big Mom herself. But gonna give it to Kid here because Kid is the man. And Law is the man, and Law did some damage. And hopefully we get another part to this. I hope this isn't the all he can do with this upgrade. I hope there's more that he can pull out during this battle. If he could throw out some Emperor's Haki, that would be cool. Because Law could be number 2 to Luffy. I love it.
Yeah. My third runner-up would have been Kanjuro, just because of the willpower and the devastating thing that he's unleashed onto the playing field. But that's relative to everything else that's happened in this chapter. So I think it kind of falls by default to Law. So yeah, man. Not really many other contenders for MVP this chapter.
This chapter was pretty spread out. Not everybody. No one in particular got heavily featured. Everyone got like 1 or 2 pages. Even at the end, like the Big Mom Law Kid fight only is like 4 pages. So everyone got a little bit of action here. Not a crazy standout this week, but hopefully as these battles are continuing, we get more clear-cut MVP favorites.
Yeah. I'm going to give the LVP to Kinemon's torso, because that was bullshit. Oh, also I wanted to say, I was so confused when he first showed up, and, like, Nami, like, drew the crescent moon on him. Like, what is she, touching his pee-pee right now? What's happening here?
He's like, oh, this is a trusted ally. He didn't even feel the crescent. He's like, someone is jerking me off, like, in the middle of a battle. It must be a friend.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a funny little moment. I'm still hoping that maybe Oda has another explanation. Maybe it's not that Law's bonds were, like, so severable. Maybe it's that Kinemon is actually about to die. His bottom half was severed. It's just his ninja or his samurai heart is so strong that he can control the bottom half of his body without his brain being connected to his legs.
That would be horrendous. That would be worse than what happened with Law. That he can just his lower half of his body can just behave on its own without any kind of nervous system. But anyway, that was our MVP section, and now we can get into our predictions. Hold.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, beforehand, when you had mentioned Luffy awakening and using this ability to protect people of Wano from the, Onigashima destroying them, here was something I read on a Reddit post for the chapter, and I'm gonna put it up on the video, so give credit to the poster. But they say, like, fan theory, I think Onigashima would explode like fireworks high up in the sky over the flower capital. Symbolically, the fire festival will burn down the old era and bring a new pink dragon that will rule Wano. Somebody else said Momo creating thousands of small tiny clouds, and if Onigashima explodes, the rubble will have thousands of small parts as well, and these small clouds can be used to lift them in the air rather than falling over the flower capital, which I thought was a pretty good way to resolve this issue. Like, I think the bombs are going to go off. I think it's very possible Onigashima is going to explode, and then it's like, okay, what the hell's going to happen to all these people in Onigashima? They're going to be blown away and flying through the air and stuff. And it's like, well, Momo could be like, you see his big herald of a dragon descending onto, like, Wano. They're having the fire festival, the fireworks and stuff are going off. You have this crazy ass explosion, and, like, then all these, like, little flame clouds are descending, with like the alliance people on them, being, like, gently descended to the ground. It would be like holy or something. Be pretty epic, I think.
That could be a pretty interesting visual. And they have to do it, I think, where everybody jumps off Onigashima before it explodes. Like, they know it's gonna blow up, so it's like Luffy's like, everybody jump, Momo, you gotta catch them, kind of scenario. And then, like you're saying, it explodes over the fire festival, and that's like, symbolic. That would be pretty interesting. I think that.
Sorry, one more thing. Even in this chapter, he's saying I can only make little small clouds. So, like, he's making a bunch of little small clouds. It's kind of like leaning towards that direction. He has a bunch of little small clouds to carry everybody. But continue.
Yeah. But I don't even know if everybody can hold on to the clouds, or if only the dragons can hold on to the clouds. That could be another issue.
I would think so, because the flame clouds can pick up the island, so I don't know why they wouldn't be able to pick up other...
But that's under Kaido's direction,
Yeah.
But anyways. But anyway, well, I guess the same argument could apply for Momo's. But I thought this maybe could be how Luffy gets his awakening, where it's like he'll have to save everybody by turning the island into a rubber thing, and it'll tie into him, like, fighting Blackbeard later, because he's his natural counter.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people suggested his awakening will be to erase things, like an eraser is made of rubber, so he can erase a power off of somebody, and he'll be like, that's why they wanted the Gomu Gomu fruit, because it has the ability, kind of like what Blackbeard's fruit can do. I think that's a bit out there, but I thought it was funny. I think he's gonna just rubberize his surroundings, and I think he's gonna do something similar to Bellamy. That Bellamy would spring all over the place and bounce off of things to put more power behind his attacks. I think Luffy's just gonna do something like that. Like, he can
rubber house or something.
Bounce house awakening. And aside from his own, like, force that he's adding from his punches, he also has, like, propulsion from bouncing off of some other surface. So that's kind of what I think is gonna happen.
So what are your predictions for the immediate chapter? Let's get back to that. For me, I think we're going to continue with this Big Mom Law kid fight. I think this is heating up. I think Big Mom's going to pop up out of the rubble and be like, you think this could hurt me? And she's going to do her own kind of awakening and really up the stakes. I think we're going to get some serious action increase there. What else? I think we're actually not going to jump into the big fights just yet. I don't think we're going to get any of the Sanji, Queen, Zoro King, or even Luffy, Kaido. I think we got that little tease just to hold us over for the next couple chapters. But I think we're going to still follow, be on the performance floor and all the little stuff happening.
So I think there's a high possibility we will not be seeing more Kid Law Big Mom stuff next chapter. Because, I mean, especially based on what Kid did, it seemed like more of an incapacitation than anything. So now we have the stage is set for us to kind of move away from Big Mom for a minute because she's kind of put on ice for a second. You know what I mean? Like she's kind of like held up. So it's not like we have any urgency to deal with this situation, and other plot points can start to be addressed. I think there's a high possibility we get more of the bomb stuff dealt with in the next chapter. Like Yamato makes more progress, maybe arrives in the room where all the explosives and stuff are.
Do you think we get some of the ninja guys back in the game? Because we did see Orochi just call for Fukurokuju to come.
Yeah, we'll probably see the resolution. So he's either calling for Fukurokuju and Fukurokuju will show up, meaning he beat Raizo, or maybe Raizo shows up and he's like, you thought Fukurokuju was gonna be here? And then maybe we can even get an explanation for how Orochi's fruit works and what you actually have to do to like take him out. So that could be a potential plot point for the next chapter.
Do you think it's possible that Fukurokuju shows up but it's really Raizo in disguise? And
yeah, that would be cool. That would be dope. That's actually a pretty smart prediction. But yeah, I think that's gonna go. And I think we might get the setup for CP0. Like CP0 will show up and be like, hey, we're here to get Robin. And
do you think there's a scenario where like he does a quick step past them, takes them out, but it's like they're not really taken out at all? Like he just like
it's possible.
one shot on.
I think this is if there's a moment for Brook to step up, this might be it. I mean, the whole CP0 thing can be a misdirection. They could like, oh man, they're here to get Robin, but then they fail. They get defeated by Brook or whoever is assisting, and some other third party comes in and takes Robin, maybe Blackbeard or something like that. But who knows? I did want to say I do think we will get development with the Usopp stuff. Like, all the big fights seem to be like at a plateau right now. Like, the scales aren't getting tipped either way. So this is the moment for some of the smaller secondary characters like Usopp to start getting shit done, because Usopp hasn't had his moment yet. Nami you can make the argument that Nami had hers in finishing off Ulti, which is still kind of weak in my opinion. But she's had.
I think it's possible that the weakling doubles take out CP0 instead of Brook.
I think he might need some help, but I think he would. It would kind of. Brook needs a moment as well, so
maybe we get a Brook Usopp combo.
Yeah, but we will see. So yeah, that is my prediction for the next chapter.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't think I had anything else. I had maybe a couple of theories cooking up, but yeah, I think this. My main thing is I don't think this is gonna affect Big Mom. Kids attack. I think she's gonna pop right back up, just angrier than ever, and start doing some crazier stuff. And maybe like that's how we end. Like with Big Mom, like, all right, now it's like let's do a soul party kind of thing, and she's about to unleash some crazy, devil fruit attack that she can. She's like, oh, you guys want to do awakening? I'll show you what an awakening looks like, and then like we get left with that image of like Big Mom looking terrifying.
Right. So yeah, man, that was our predictions. And on that note, I am Log Zero, and I want to say before we go, please hit that like and subscribe. Show some support. Throw a comment down there. Just hang out with us for a bit and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. If you got any funny memes you want to share on Insta, let us know. We're always, down to make some polls or some stuff happen there. We're trying to get more engagement going. So, like I said, Journey to Laugh-Tale. It's where all the action happening. We're having Twitter more happening over there. That'll be coming soon. More information to follow. But yeah, be free to give us a subscription or drop a comment. We'd love to hear from our fans and other fans of One Piece.
Word. And on that note, I'm Lock Zero.
And I'm your main man, Rev.
And we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.